Back when I did my very first wish list video for the Wheel of Time, it was after I'd taken a short hiatus, and it was in between Crown of Swords and Lord of Chaos. And I decided, because it was still like about a month away from when I was going to read the Wheel of Time, and I'd had a lot of time to think about it. So I thought, okay, I'll do a wish list for a Crown of Swords. And here we are on my 8th and final Wheel of Time wish list episode. And that just frightens me to say, for reasons I'm going to kind of talk about here on my very last Wheel of Time wish list. But guys, let's go ahead and let the dragon ride one more time through the winds of time. Hey, what's up, wheelies and dark friends? Mike back for one more go at it with the Wheel of Time wish list. And of course, we're going to be talking about the very last book in that series, A Memory of Light. Guys, I never thought I would get here. Honestly, it's been 13 plus months since I started this series. And, it's just one of those things I always thought, it always felt like I was just always going to be doing, So now that I'm actually here, and I thought, I've got to come up with stuff that I want to see, and I always had a lot of kind of loose free. Like, I never really thought too much about what I wanted on these wish lists. I would just put the characters' names down, turn the camera on, and go. Not that that's any different here, but what I mean by that is that I never felt like I had to have like a final thing that I wanted to see. So I could always be like, yeah, I'd like to see this, but I don't think it's going to happen in this book. This is my last opportunity to do that and say I hope I see it in this book, because, this is it. If you watched my Towers of Midnight review, which I haven't actually recorded at this moment, but I wanted to record this before I did that, but I'll put it up here for you in case you want to watch that. And it's always weird talking about a review I haven't recorded yet, but I think that something I'm going to bring up on that is that how nervous I felt when I took this book off the shelf. Like, I was just kind of surprised. I took the book off the shelf and I actually felt like nervous, fear of, sticking the landing, fear of being done with this. And, so, I got to do this. Because, it's I can't stop now, obviously. I was kind of joking with my wife about, I'm going to be reading this and I'm going to be like holding the clock arm down to try to stop myself from, finishing the series, because I don't know. It's just, if you guys have been here, you probably understand what I'm talking about right now, about not wanting to finish it because then it's over, right? So, all of my criticisms that I have aside, and constructive criticism, it's always constructive criticism, and things like that, guys, you have to know that this series is very dear to me. I wouldn't have them all in hardcover, 11 of them in first editions. I wouldn't have framed artwork up there. I wouldn't have talked about it this much if it wasn't something that I absolutely fell in love with. So we're going to get into the final wish list now. And obviously, spoilers for the first 13 books. If you don't know that at this point, I don't know why you're here. But let's just get right into it. The things I most want to see in this final adventure in Robert Jordan's world here. And I've got to kick this off by saying Moraine. I want Moraine. Yeah, see what I did there? Moraine, because something I had actually brought up in the past was that I hoped that she had a bigger part than just kind of showing up at the last battle. Well, I got her a little earlier than the last battle here, so I'm hoping, again, that she's just a major player. I would like her to be a major player in this last book, because they talk about how she's weakened, but she's got the whole armband that I believe makes it where she still got some power. She did offer to heal Matt after the Tower of Genji, so I imagine she's still got some power. And obviously Tom's going to be with her, so hey, there's two of my favorites right there. So just more Moraine. I need to see that reunion with her and Rand. Hell, I need to see her reunion with all the Two Rivers folk. I really do, because I think it will be quite enjoyable. Just seeing how much they've changed. 8 books since she's been around? So a lot has happened between them. I think back then, Rand and Matt and Perrin still kind of seemed like, I thought like Perrin had kind of come to his own, but Rand and Matt still kind of seemed like babies at that point. So I would definitely like to, God, I can only imagine what she's going to think of Egwene when she sees her, right? So, just that reunion with all of the Two Rivers crowd. And I don't know if it would happen, obviously, since Lan's already on his way up there, Lan wouldn't actually see her until the fields of the last battle, but I'm sure that will be quite the reaction as well. Sticking with Two Rivers, folks, here, Nynaeve, I need her to continue to be awesome. I think I decided, reading Towers of Midnight, that Nynaeve has become my favorite character in the series. I feel like it's been earned. A really good arc, and it went from someone that I was frustrated with sometimes, thought that her temper was just kind of ridiculous, her stubbornness, legendary stubbornness, and ever since Knife of Dreams, she has just been written perfectly and in a way that I didn't realize how much I was endeared to this character. So yeah, I need her just to continue to be awesome. She must be protected. She is number one not only in my character list right now, but she's number one on my do not kill her, damn it list. So if anybody wants to take bets on who is going to, I'm sure they had a poll on who was going to die in the last battle here, but sorry, I got a nose itch. What else is new? And I know there's going to be some deaths in here. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but Nynaeve is going to be my number one on do not kill this character, damn it. I won't be okay. And again, this is my last chance to say it. I want my Ta'veren reunion. I want to see Mat and Rand and Perrin, and I want to see them meeting prior to, hey, it's nice to see you here. We're here for that last battle, huh? Looks like it's going to be hell, right? No, I want to see them have their moment. We kind of got it with Perrin and Mat, had their kind of reunion in Towers of Midnight, so I'd like to see Rand be a part of that too, especially now that he seems to he's got his head back on straight. I'd like to see them talk and just be the pals from Two Rivers that I saw, the three pals from the Two Rivers that I saw at the beginning of the story. I figured it would be a nice little dose of nostalgia. So I would really been waiting for that reunion, and I hope that it happens prior to them taking the battlefield there. So they have some time to actually talk to each other and talk about all the crazy things that they've been through. Because I think it'll be a lot of fun. I know that I get a lot of pushback about my opinions on Egwene, but being objective here, I want her to realize it's not about her. This is about humankind here, and I want her also to know that this is the dragon's moment. This is something that he has to do, not something that she has to do. So I want her to, if she wants to be a big player, obviously they're going to need her to win this fight, and they're going to need her people to win this fight. And as stubborn as she is, I don't think she's so stubborn she's going to be like, oh, well, kiss my butt, I'm just going to stay home. I'm going to take my ball and go home. I don't think she's going to be Switzerland through all this. So I think that she's obviously going to be important. But, one thing about Egwene is she's real big about making people kiss the ring first. So I don't believe that Rand's going to do that. I mean, I would hope not or whatever. But they're going to have to be on the same page. And I'm pretty sure Rand might approach it kind of like he did with Tuon a couple of books ago when he's like, look, you guys can go back to being dicks after the last battle, but I need your help in the last battle now. Let's worry about what happens afterwards, after we live through it, after we win. So, I want her to realize you can run the show after this. Right now, let's get on the same page. Let's do what Rand is asking us to do, okay? He knows what's going on. He's 400 years old. You call him Rand Sedai, damn it. I talked about Lan briefly, and I feel like after this much buildup, I need Lan to be like freaking John Wick out here. I need him slicing and dicing and just full on like a Ginsu commercial and just tearing folks up and down. All right, I need to see him unloading in the last battle. If there's one person I think might not live through this, I think it might. I got two suggestions I think that might not live through this. Lan seems like it would be like the real heroic moment. He's finally accepted his destiny kind of thing, or his right, and he could actually win Malkier back and then not live through it. Kind of the Thorin Oakenshield kind of thing there. 65, 70-year-old spoiler there for you. Anyhow, if you haven't read The Hobbit, I don't know what you're doing with your life. But I need to see some big moments from Lan here in the fight. And, obviously he's kicking things off here. He's there before everybody else. So, let's see what is going on. This last book just kind of ended with him charging towards it, so we're there. We are ready to go. So, more of that, and let me see him do something really special. Let me see him show the F up like I've been waiting for so long in this series. I'm ready to see that. I I think one thing I kind of regret with this, and I think this is something that happens with a lot of first-time readers, because you get this a lot from the people who tell you to reread stuff, is every time men had a viewing, I just kind of, whatever. I've mentioned before that I'm terrible at riddles, so I never try to figure riddles out, and a lot of prophecies just sound like riddles to me, to where I'm not even paying. But I do wish I'd wrote some of them down, because I've forgotten way more than I figured out, honestly, and because I won't lie, it got to a point almost where I would read through them about 3/4 away. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm just not even going to try to remember this. And I do wish I had wrote some of that down. So I do say the ones that I do recall, which I'm not going to list here. I do have a little notepad here of notes that I've taken through this whole thing, and maybe I'll share those one day. And some of the prophecies I have wrote down, like, and then the one about an onyx hand holding Kalendor in the last one. That's obviously the one that's sticking in my mind right now. And the one about Loghain, like a halo of glory or something like that. Those are the two that have stuck in my head the most. So I hope that some of her views become clearer. And that's a good transition to talk about Loghain. Dude's kind of disappeared again right when I was really starting to like him. So another character I'd like to see prior to the last battle. And I know that, I've only got like 1,000 pages of this story left here. There's only so much that can be done. But it's just got to that point now where I'm like, I need to see some more of these characters before they just show up and wreck shop here in the last battle, or get wrecked, one or the other. So I feel like it's been so much of a build with Loghain. I mean, we've heard about this guy since book 1, and I just don't feel like we've seen the best to come yet. I feel like it's still left to come. So I'm hoping to see something that Loghain does again. Because like I said, I was just really starting to really, on Knife of Dreams, I was like, dude, I love this guy. I think he might be as strong as Rand at this point. Not since Rand found Jesus or whatever, or became Jesus, rather. I don't think now. I mean, power set. I know that people say that the power set is in the Wheel of Time companion back there, but I'm afraid to look in it. I'm this close to the end, guys. I'm not risking any spoilers, so I'm not even looking there. So I'll look at that later. I'll let you guys argue about who's the most powerful kind of thing. But anyway, I'd like to see more of Loghain before we get there. I need some final resolution on Mazrim Taim, and by that, I know that's something that I've kind of glazed over in the last couple of reviews about him. I need to know who he is or is not. I think much like most new readers, first-time readers, everyone thinks that he is Demandred. I am in that camp as well. So much so that I think that Jordan might subvert the expectation on that, or Sanderson, whoever wrote that part. If we get some kind of, I believe we'll get some kind of resolution there on Taim. They've been kind of slowly building up to it with Pavara and Androl, which I haven't spoken very much of, just because. I turn the camera on with some notes and I just go, guys. I don't catch everything to talk to you guys about. I can't hit every single beat in books these long, or these videos will be 4 hours long, and I'm not doing that. But yeah, I need some resolution just on Taim. This whole thing. I mean, God, when did he first show up? Was it Fires of Heaven when we actually first saw him, or was it? I think it was the end of Fires of Heaven when Rand was like, you're not going to be hunting down male channelers anymore. So I think this all the way since then. So this will be some payoff I'm hoping for. Lastly, I think I need no more infighting. I want Tarman Gai'don to be 100% the focus. I don't need any more strong arming about, well, we're in charge of this and we're in charge of that and we need to negotiate for this. Guys, it's kill or be killed. It's unite or die. It is time. It's time for silly politics to stop. Let's focus on our common enemy, and then we can go back to being idiots later. I don't need this just piddly shit that don't matter, really. I can't think of a better word right now. But I'd like to see that be the focus. I want some unity, Unite or die. That's what we need to see. And by that, of course, I mean we need a final resolution on the Shan-Chan. I feel like that's the one thread that's still kind of hanging. I feel like they really tied up everything really well in Towers of Midnight to the point to where, okay, now the last battle can be the focus. But the Shan-Chan thing's still hanging out there. And I've kind of went from I liked Tuan to just kind of like indifference to now I kind of almost feel like she's like the last villain, the last kind of villain in this thing. So I'm sure now that Matt's done with his whole side quest there, I'm pretty sure he's going to go meet with Tuan in this last book and try to get her to either get on the same page or I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. I can't really say. I felt like their parting was kind of like hey, we're still married, but next time we see each other, we might be enemies. So I don't necessarily know that it's going to end well. I thought about that. If he does go back to Ibudar, then I'm sure that's is it Teslin? Is that, there's so many names. Beslin. I think it's Beslin. Tylen's mother. So I'm pretty sure he's not going to be thrilled with Matt when he sees him. So that could be a confrontation that we do see, and I'm sure it might be a little bloody. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. I didn't even think about the Ibudar, him going back to Ibudar and having to deal with that. But I don't think that happened for no reason, But still glad Tylen's dead. I don't care. But yes, the last battle. Let's talk about the horse in the room here. I know about the length, okay? As long as I have been reading this and I first started hearing about the last battle in these books, people have been telling me, yeah, the last battle chapter in the book is longer than the first Harry Potter. Okay, so I know how long it is. What I'm wishing for, though, is that it is worth it. The last thing I want is during this climactic battle that we've been building for double-digit number of books now, to start to feel like it's dragging. That's the last thing I need. If it's that long, and I'm not saying it has to be straight action. I mean, everybody needs to come up for air in a little bit. I mean, I joked in my my Red Rising video that if a battle scene goes on for more than like 15 pages, I start to glaze over. What I meant by that is that if it's just the same sword duel for 15 pages, yeah, I need something new. I imagine this is going to have so many players involved and so many moving parts and forces that it's going to be able to give me a variety here. But like I said, it doesn't have to be just super fast paced the whole time. I just don't want ever to feel like in the middle of this that like, this is the climax and I'm looking at my watch. I don't ever want to feel like that. And I know that some people have said, oh, you need to read the last battle in one sitting. Well, guys, do you have kids? I don't think that they are ever going to just be like, oh, you want to read like this 300-page book in one sitting? You hilarious man. That's what my kids would do. So that might not happen to me. So I hope it does have a breaking point in it somewhere. But I also hope that it's also something that I can't put down. So there is my biggest wish. And this one just kind of seems like I'm being selfish. And you know what? Damn it. I feel like after 13 books, 13 and a half by the time I get to the last battle, I deserve to be a little selfish. I feel like I deserve to be rewarded as the reader here. So what I want in the last battle is I want all of our primary players that we've read for 14 books, if you count New Spring here, I want them all to have their moments. And what I mean by this is I think back to Infinity War. You look at the cast of Infinity War and you're like, oh my God, this cast is gigantic. And you know what? You can think of every one of those major characters in that movie, and you can think about that one thing that they did that everybody's like, oh, and that one part where Spider-Man did this, and that one part where Hulk, and one part where Iron Man did this. I want that with the last battle. My favorite part was when Rand did this. My favorite part was when Perrin busts his fool with the hammer. This is my favorite part when Matt did this little flip. That's what I want. I want to be able to go back and look at it and say, each one of these characters had a moment that I remember. So that's what I want out of each of them in the last battle. And this is where my grimdarky is going to kind of sink in, because I hate to ask for blood, but it needs to happen. I need a body count. I need to feel like this was serious, and I know with a lot of traditional fantasy, you have a lot of your little side characters that you might not even remember if you've read their name once before. I've said that I felt like the body count needed to be higher in this series. I was like, oh, well, look at this and this, and the golem came up, and I don't even know who some of those people the golem killed were, So I need it to be important people, and then the last book, we had Jane Farstrider die. We had God, who else? Anyway, you had some named characters start to die a little bit. So what I say is I need some of these characters to die. And if I'm making a prediction right now, please don't tell me if I'm wrong or right. I think Perrin's going to be the one of the Ta'veren to go. I really, really feel like that. I don't know why. I just get that feeling. So, and I also think Lan will be the other one. Those are my guesses of the two major players, and then it'll be a lot of tertiary characters. I've already said that there is a major female character I know about that does die in this, because what I did was I tried to Google her name and to see that I was spelling it correctly, which is stupid. Who cares if you're spelling it correctly in your notes, right? That's just how stupid I can be sometimes. And as I did it, auto-completed death at Tarman Gai'don. I was like, God damn it. So I'm still hoping it was wrong. But I don't think it is. So that, and another one which surprisingly still hasn't been revealed, so I'm hoping it is wrong too, and that is about a certain familiar relationship between two characters that hasn't been revealed yet. I'll talk about that in my Memory of Light video if it doesn't come true, or if it does. Those are the two big ones that have been spoiled to me. But guys, for a series this long, to have that be the only two things that have been spoiled for me, that would be amazing. You know, so I'm still impressed that that I made it this far without being spoiled, and it's just a hat tip to the fandom there, because every other fandom's got that one guy who can't help but come in and tell you, you know, everything that happens. So I'm just amazed it's gotten this far. All right, here's the biggie: Rand versus the Dark One. You guys know how much I love Lord of the Rings. Love it. Think it's the greatest piece of fantasy literature ever written. And I'm going to stick by that until I die, probably. I just don't imagine anything will ever get there for me. One thing I don't like is the final confrontation is in Sauron doing like his disappearing act. You never have the Aragorn or Gandalf versus Sauron moment. You know, you never have that. You know, he never actually physically appears in the final confrontation. I need Rand versus the Dark One, not Rangers versus Moradin. I don't need that, or Ishamael, or whatever name. I need Rand versus the Dark One. I need this confrontation to happen. So there we go. That's my biggest wish. Lastly, just kind of mop-up duty here. I don't need a 150-page epilogue or nothing like that. I don't need, you know, just to know everything that happens for like 15 years after the last battle. But I'd like no cliffhanger. I'd like to know where everyone ends up. Have some finality to it, you know. I want to be left with a feeling of loss. Like I just, you know, lost several close friends. You know, because I'm not going to be reading anymore. But I don't want to be left with that feeling of being unfulfilled and being like, well, I still wish I'd known what happened with this and that and this. And there's a lot to tie up. If you think about it, there really is. And I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if it's possible to have that wish fulfilled. I don't know. But I hear so many people tell me about how just emotionally draining this book is. So I know that there's some big moments coming. I gotta believe that. I really do. And I know that the very last chapter in here was written by George himself. So I don't want to say I'm anxious to read it, because I just told you how scared I was to read the book. But that is the final wish list, guys. I know I'll say it again in my Memory of Light review when I do it. But I can't say thank you guys enough for coming along on this ride with me. It has been a ride. It has been so fun, and you guys have made it great. Some of the griping about some of the comments aside, that 99% of you have been amazing about it. And, you know, that 1% has a different opinion. It's fine. It's fine. I've always said this channel is about disagreeing and being okay with that. It's fine. It's fine. But, again, you guys have made this so much more fun than it was when I think back to when I was reading A Song of Ice and Fire and I had to go on like bulletin boards on the early internet to be able to talk to anybody about that book, because you know, there was like a handful of people that had read it. So this has just been so refreshing. I don't think I'll ever encounter another fan base like I have with Wheel of Time. So again, thank you guys. It's been awesome. And I'm glad you guys liked these wish list videos. I look forward to, after I finish the Memory of Light, going back and watching all my early reviews and watching my earlier wish list videos and just laughing at how off I was. And you know, that's part of the fun. It's part of the fun. At least that's what I've been told, you know, by people who've read this series, seeing it again through the eyes of someone reading it for the first time. So I hope I can entertain you guys until the end here, because I know some of you have been with me since Eye of the World, and that's just awesome. That's just really, really awesome. You've watched the channel grow along with us, how I've watched these characters grow, and that's just so much fun. So thank you guys. No spoilers, please. I've made it this far without being spoiled. So thank you. Hit me in the comments. Tell me what you were thinking while you had this, what was it, like a 3-year wait between Towers of Midnight and A Memory of Light. So, yeah, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine there. So what were you guys hoping for when you got here? Let me know, and let me know what you think of what I just said without telling me if I was right or wrong or any of that stuff. No foreshadowing. Leave that to Robert Jordan himself. I'll talk to you guys in the comments.